Today we are going to start our chapter 1, that is the best Christmas present in the world, and this is written by Michael Mopugo. Before we move on to the reading and explanation of the chapter, let's learn something about our author, Mr. Michael Mopugo. He was born on 5th October 1943 at St Albans, Hertfordshire, England. He is an English book author, poet, playwright and librettist who is known best for children's novels such as War Horse, written in 1982. His work is noted for its magical storytelling, for recurring themes such as the triumph of an outsider or survival for characters' relationships with nature, and for vivid settings such as the Cornish coast or World War I. His notable works are War Horse, Why the Whales Came, Private Peaceful, etc. He got many awards like Children's Laureate, Nestle's Smarties Book Prize for 6 to 8 years, Carnegie Medal, and many more. So, this is all about our author. Now, we are moving on to our next part, that is the introduction of our chapter. The lesson, the best Christmas present in the world, recites a Christmas story in the midst of a war. It reflects upon the longing of the soldiers to reunite with their families. On the other hand, it also throws light upon the longing of the families of these soldiers. One such wife, Connie, 101-year-old lady whose husband was a soldier in the British Army, misunderstood her visitor to be her husband, Jim, and called the so called reunion the best Christmas present in the world. So, this is a short introduction of this very interesting chapter. So, what's interesting about this chapter? Let's learn in comprehension 1. So, today we will learn, read, and explain this comprehension 1. I spotted it in a junk shop in Bridport. A roll top desk. The man said it was early 19th century and oak. I had wanted one, but they were far too expensive. This one was in a bad condition, the roll top in several pieces, one leg clumsily mended, scotch marks all down one side. It was going for very little money. I thought I could restore it. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom at the back of the garage. I began work on it on Christmas Eve. So, here some new words are there which I have highlighted with red color. Let me tell you the meanings of these words first. Spotted it means to found something. Junk shop, it is actually a shop which sells worn out materials. मतलब जो कबाड़े की शॉप होती है उसे हम जंक शॉप बोलते हैं. Clumsily mended means repaired in a careless way, मतलब ऐसे ही बस किसी तरीके से ठीक कर देना. Scotch marks means burnt marks, जले हुए के निशान. Restore means repair. So, in this paragraph, author wants to say that one day he went to a junk shop in a Bridport. Actually, Bridport is a place in England. So he went to Bridport in a junk shop, and there he found a roll top desk. Now let me show you what is a roll top desk. This is actually a roll top desk. See, this is a roll top desk. So this the author found, and the shopkeeper told him that this table was from 19th early 19th century, and it was made of oak wood. oak क्या हो, एक लकड़ी ही होती है, एक पेड़ होता है, उसका नाम होता है oak wood. It is a hardwood tree. And because the author was in urgent need of one such roll top desk, so he just go for that. He was not willing to buy a new one. वो एक नई नहीं खरीदना चाहता था, क्योंकि नई जो है वो बहुत महंगी होती. So he was just searching for a cheaper one in a junk shop, and finally he found one. But that desk was in very bad condition. It was in a very bad condition, such that its one leg is clumsily mended. एक जो उसका पाया था उसको ऐसे ही बस किसी तरीके से जोड़ के रखा हुआ था. And it was having that desk was having burnt marks all over one side. यानी वो इतनी ख़राब हो चुकी थी कि जले हुए के निशान थे. So author got to know that he will get that desk for a very little money. तो उसे पता चल गया था कि अब उसे ये बहुत सस्ते में, बहुत कम पैसों में मिल जाएगी. I thought I could restore it, and he thought that if he just purchase that, if he just buy that, he will be able to repair it. Although it is not easy to repair such a bad condition desk, but still he took that because it was very cheap. वो बहुत सस्ती थी. फिर उसे पता था कि इतना आसान नहीं है इसको ठीक करना, मगर वो सस्ते में मिल रही थी तो उसने ले ली. And finally he brought back that desk and kept it in the garage. And he thought that he will start repairing it or start working on that on a Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve क्या होती है? जो क्रिसमस से पहले वाली जो शाम होती है उसे हम क्रिसमस ईव बोलते हैं. I removed the roll top desk completely and pulled out the drawers. The veneer had lifted almost everywhere. It looked like water damage to me. Both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on this desk. The last drawer was stuck fast. I tried all I could to ease it out gently. In the end, I used brute force. I struck it sharply with the side of my fist, and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath. A secret drawer? There was something in there. I reached in and took out a small black tin box. So again some more new words are there. Veneer means a coating. जो एक जैसे हम लोग सनमाइका लगाते हैं या कोई प्लास्टिक कोटिंग अपने टेबल्स के ऊपर लगाते हैं, लाइक दैट जो होता है एक लेयर लगाई जाती है, अक्सर डेकोरेटिव वुड की होती है, वो उसे हम वेनियर बोलते हैं. टेकिन देयर टोल ऑन इस फ्रेज का मतलब है टू डैमेज समथिंग. स्ट्रक फास्ट मीन्स टू हिट समथिंग वेरी फोर्सफुली. ब्रूट मीन्स स्ट्रॉन्ग. स्ट्रक स्टक फास्ट मीन्स किसी चीज़ में फंस जाना. एंड स्ट्रक मीन्स टू हिट समथिंग वेरी स्ट्रांगली. ब्रूट मीन्स स्ट्रांग. रिवील मतलब टू शो. सो व्हाट हैपेंड व्हेन that author took that roll top desk to repair it, he just removed all the drawers. जब हमें कोई चीज़ ठीक करनी होती तो हम सारे drawers को remove करते हैं. Same way he also removed all those drawers, and he saw that the veneer जो वो डेकोरेटिव वुड है, दैट वॉज लिफ्टेड ऑलमोस्ट एवरी, मतलब वो हट गया था, वो चिपका हुआ ऊपर से होता है तो वहाँ से वो हट चुका था. दैट मीन्स वाटर एंड फायर बोथ वर्क टुगेदर टू डैमेज दैट रोल टॉप डेस्क. यानी पूरी तरीके से वाटर और फायर की वजह से वो डैमेज हो चुकी थी. एंड द लास्ट ड्रॉअर वॉज स्टक फास्ट. दैट मीन्स जो लास्ट ड्रॉअर था, ही वॉज नॉट, दैट अदर वॉज नॉट एबल टू टेक आउट ईजली बिकॉज वो वहाँ पर फंस गया था. सो ही वॉज नॉट एबल टू टेक आउट, सो ही स्टार्टेड स्ट्रकिंग, मतलब उसको हिट करना शुरू कर दिया, उसको किसी तरीके से इधर से उधर से कि किसी तरह वो ड्रॉअर निकल आए. एंड उसने अपनी फिस्ट से मतलब मुक्के से अपने निकालने की शुरू की. एंड आफ्टर हिटिंग इट हार्ड, फाइनली द ड्रॉअर ओपन, एंड व्हेन इट ओपन्स इट रिवील्स अ शैलो स्पेस. मतलब जैसे ही वो खुला, वो ड्रॉअर जैसे ही खुला तो उसके नीचे एक थोड़ा शैलो, मतलब ज़्यादा गहरा नहीं, हल्का गहरा एक स्पेस नज़र आया, एक जगह नज़र आई, विच शोज दैट that drawer contains another secret drawer. That means within that drawer there is another secret drawer, and in that secret drawer there was a small black colored tin box. That means inside that drawer that author found a black colored tin box. यू कैन सी यहाँ पे ये जो तीसरा ड्रॉअर है उसने स्ट्रक किया, उसके अंदर एक और ड्रॉअर है और उसके अंदर उसे एक ब्लैक कलर का टिन बॉक्स मिला. Sellotaped to the top of it was a piece of lined notepaper and written on it in shaky handwriting, Jim's last letter received January 25, 1915. To be buried with me when the time comes. I knew as I did it that it was wrong of me to open the box, but curiosity got the better of my scruples. It usually does. So, here another word is there. Scruples. Scruples means to do something which you know that is wrong. मतलब आपको जब पता हो कि कोई चीज़ गलत है बट फिर भी आप करो. So when he just looked inside that drawer, he found that there was a black colored tin box, and it was सेलोटेप, यानी उसको वो पूरी तरीके से सेलोटेप से जो था वो रैप्ड था. एंड ऑन द टॉप ऑफ दैट बॉक्स देयर इज अ लाइंड नोट पेपर. वहाँ पर क्या था, उस टॉप ऑफ बॉक्स में एक नोट पेपर लगा था, लाइंड नोट पेपर, यानी एक नोट लगा हुआ था. एंड ऑन दैट नोट देयर इज रिटन विथ शेकी हैंड राइटिंग. जैसे लोग बुढ़े हो जाते हैं तो उनकी हाथ हिलने लगते हैं तो हैंड राइटिंग कैसी हो जाती है, थोड़ी शेकी हो जाती है. सेम वे ऑन दैट मतलब उसी बॉक्स के ऊपर एक नोट लगा था जो शेकी हैंड राइटिंग में लिखा हुआ था. एंड व्हाट वाज रिटन ओवर देयर, जिम्स लास्ट लेटर रिसीव्ड January 25, 1915 to be buried with me when the time comes. तो उसमें क्या लिखा हुआ था, ये लेटर किसका था, जिम का था, और ये जिम का लास्ट लेटर था विच वॉज रिसीव्ड ऑन January 25, 1915. ये लेटर कब रिसीव हुआ था, January 25, 1915, और ये जिम का लास्ट लेटर था. एंड द ओनर ऑफ दैट लेटर had written that that letter should be buried with her when the time comes. यानी वो लेटर उन्हीं के साथ दफना देना है जब उनकी डेथ हो. I know as I did it that it was wrong of me to open the box. ठीक है, उनको मतलब जो ऑथर था जब उसने ये चीज़ देखा तो उसे थोड़ी सी क्यूरियोसिटी हुई. उसे पता था कि वो he was very aware, he was very sure, he was aware that he was doing something wrong. It is not good to see something that not belongs to him. उसे पता था कि जो चीज़ उसकी नहीं है उसको नहीं देखना चाहिए, बट स्टिल उसको क्यूरियोसिटी इतनी थी, so he just tried to open that box. Inside the box, there was an envelope. The address read, Mrs. Jim Macpherson, 12 Copper Beaches, Bridport, Dorset. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in pencil and dated at the top, December 26, 1914. So, what the author found in that box? He found that inside that box there was an envelope, and on that envelope there was an address. And what was the address? That वो जो एड्रेस था वो किसके लिए था? दैट इज फॉर मिसेस जिम मैकपर्सन, यानी जिसने भी लेटर लिखा था उसकी वाइफ के लिए था, क्योंकि लेटर किसने लिखा था? जिम ने। एंड किसको एड्रेस किया था? अपनी वाइफ मिसेस जिम मैकपर्सन को। एंड व्हाट वाज द एड्रेस? 12 कॉपर बीचेस, ब्रिडपोर्ट, डॉसेट। एंड he just took out that letter and unfolded it. Unfolded it means opened it, and inside that letter it was written with pencil. And what was the date of writing the letter? That was December 26, 1914. यानी ये लेटर कब लिखा गया था? 26 दिसंबर 1914 में। और ये रिसीव कब हुआ था? जनवरी 25, 1915। यानी पूरे एक मंथ के बाद ये लेटर रिसीव हुआ था। किसने रिसीव किया था? मिसेस जिम मैकपर्सन। एंड दिस लेटर वाज फ्रॉम हर हस्बैंड मिस्टर जिम मैकपर्सन. So this is what our author found in that black colored tin box. So before we move on to our next comprehension, let's have a quick summary of what we have learned in comprehension 1. The story begins with the author buying a cheap roll-top desk from a junk shop. Though it was in a bad condition, the author thought that he would restore it. On Christmas Eve, he started to repair it. The table was of the 19th century and was made of oak. The drawers were badly damaged due to fire and water. When the author pulled out the last drawer, he found a secret space there. In that secret space was a small tin box. On top of that box, it was written, Jim's last letter, received January 25, 1915, to be buried with me when the time comes. Inside the tin box was an envelope with the address written on it, Mrs. Jim Macpherson, 12 Copper Breaches, Bridport. The date on the envelope was December 26, 1914. So this we have learned in our previous class, that the author got a letter from Jim, who wrote that letter to his wife Connie on 26th December 1914, and that letter was received on January 25, 1915. So until here we have got to learn in our previous class. Now we are moving on to the next part of this chapter, and that is comprehension 2. So let's read and learn comprehension 2. So comprehension 2 starts with the letter of Connie, which the author read. Dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind, because something wonderful has just happened that I must tell you about at once. We were all standing to in our trenches yesterday morning. Christmas morning. It was crisp and quiet all about. As beautiful a morning as I have ever seen, as cold as frosty as a Christmas morning should be. So this letter is actually written by Jim Macpherson, and he was a soldier in British Army. And this incident took place during the First World War. and as he was on a war with the Germans, so he something unusual happened one day, and that is on Christmas Day. And Jim explained what happened on that day to his wife through that letter. He told to his wife that he told to Connie that he was very happy on that day. He was writing that letter with a very happy frame of mind. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा जो लोग सोल्जर्स लड़ाई पर जाते हैं, जब वॉर होता है तो उनका स्टेट ऑफ माइंड बहुत अच्छा नहीं होता. दे वर नॉट हैप्पी बिकॉज दे वर अवे फ्रॉम देयर फैमिलीज, दे वर अवे फ्रॉम देयर वाइफ, they were away from children, and they were not very sure that whether they will be alive after that war or not. So they were not in a good state of their mind. Same way, Jim was not also in a good state of mind, but something unusual happened on Christmas Day, and because of that his state of mind was very good. He was feeling very wonderful, very happy. And that's why he thought of writing a letter to his wife. He told that on a Christmas morning, that morning was very wonderful. It was very crisp. Crisp means fresh and very quiet, just like other Christmas morning. And it was very cold and frosty, क्योंकि Christmas December में पड़ता है, तो उस टाइम में जो season रहता है वो बहुत ठंडा होता है. You all know very well. So he told that the morning was as usual, very cold and frosty, but it was very fresh, and something unusual happened on that day. At that time, both all the English soldiers, they were standing in their trenches. Trenches क्या होता है? जब कोई लड़ाई होती है तो कुछ गड्ढा टाइप खोद दिया जाता है, जिसके मतलब ताकि दो आर्मीज़ को सेपरेट किया जा सके, और उस गड्ढे में जो होते हैं ना, सोल्जर्स अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए छुपते हैं, तो वो से डिच को बोलते हैं ट्रेंच. See, this is the letter actually that author was reading, and this was addressed to Connie, and this letter was from Jim. I should like to be able to tell you that we began it, but the truth, I am ashamed to say it, is that Fritz began it. First, someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. Then they were calling out to us from across no man's land, "Happy Christmas, Tommy! Happy Christmas!" When we had got over the surprise, some of us shouted back, "Same to you, Fritz, same to you." So what happened on Christmas morning? That both the soldiers from both the armies, they were in their respective trenches, and something unusual happened. What happened? Actually, जो जिम था वो थोड़ा सा एम्बेरस्ड फील कर रहा था ये बताते हुए कि ये वाली जो शुरुआत थी, ये जो कुछ अनयूजुअल हुआ था, ये शुरुआत जर्मन सोल्जर्स ने की, और उन्हें बहुत अशेम्ड, मतलब बहुत ही ज़्यादा शर्म हो रही थी, शर्म महसूस हो रही थी कि ये शुरुआत उन्होंने क्यों नहीं की. तो क्या थी वो शुरुआत? लेट्स सी. He heard someone from the English side saw that Fritz were waving a white flag. White flag का मतलब क्या होता है? Peace. White flag क्या होता है? Peace की निशानी होती है. तो they were waving a white colored flag. That means they were showing that they want to make peace. And soon after, people from England side heard that, soldiers from England side heard that they were wishing them happy Christmas. That means Fritz. Fritz कौन होते हैं? जो जर्मन सोल्जर्स होते हैं, उनको जनरली फ्रिट्स बोला जाता है, ये कॉमन नेम होता है जर्मन्स में. सेम वे टॉमी जो होता है वो एक इंग्लिश वर्ड होता है, तो ये इंग्लिश सोल्जर्स को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए यूज़ हुआ है. तो फ्रिट्स व्हाट दे डिड, they started first, they waved peace flag, and then they started wishing happy Christmas to English soldiers. So when the English soldiers heard that, they become very much surprised because they were on war with them. They were on war with them. But what happened that day? They were actually wishing them Christmas. So when English soldiers heard them, they also become very much excited and they wish them back by saying, "Same to you, Fritz, same to you." You can see यहाँ पर war की condition दिखाई जा रही है. Then a white flag is hosted by Fritz. Now what happened next? I thought that would be that. We all did. But then suddenly one of them was up there in his grey greatcoat and waving a white flag. "Don't shoot, lads," someone shouted. And no one did. Then there was another Fritz up on the parapet and another. "Keep your heads down," I told the man. "It's a trick," but it was not. So what happened after that? Soldiers from English side, that means from the side of Jim, they thought that this would be enough. They were simply wishing the Christmas and ये सब कुछ बस इतना ही था. Now अब wish कर लिया, अब सब कुछ खत्म हुआ. Again they have to start the war. But soon after they saw what they saw, that again another soldier who was wearing a greatcoat. Greatcoat means a long coat representing the German army. They started waving a white color flag and they requested the English soldiers to not to shoot. यानी उन्होंने क्या देखा कि white color का flag वो wave कर रहे हैं और वो ये request कर रहे हैं कि वो shoot ना करें, क्योंकि war में हमेशा ये रहता है कि अगर कोई भी कुछ unusual होता है तो सीधे सीधे क्या होता है, shoot करने के orders होते हैं. So they requested the English people to not to shoot. And when they requested, people from this side understood that and they didn't shoot. And again another German soldiers came on the parapet. Parapet क्या होता है? जो ट्रेंचेस होते हैं उनके ऊपर थोड़ी सी वॉल बना दी जाती है अक्सर गनी बैग्स के थ्रू, बोरों के थ्रू, ताकि उसके पीछे छुपकर सोल्जर्स जो हैं वो शूट कर सकें. तो वो पैरापेट पे खड़ा हो गया. एंड जब ये इंग्लिश सोल्जर्स ने ये देखा, जब जिम ने ये देखा, ही टोल्ड हिज सोल्जर्स दैट कीप योर हेड डाउन, दैट इट शुड बी देयर ट्रिक. ये शायद उनकी कोई ट्रिक है हम लोगों को शूट करने की, तो you have to be aware of that. You have to be in guard against them. But actually that was not their trick. They were wishing Christmas with their heart and that was not actually their trick. One of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head. "It's a Christmas day, Tommy. We have schnapps, we have sausage, we meet you." Yes, by this time there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land and not a rifle between them. Little Private Morris was the first up. "Come on, boys, what are we waiting for?" And then there was no stopping them. So what happened? Soon they saw that there was another German soldier and he was waving a bottle of liquor above his head. That means he wanted to show he was in a mood of celebration and he invited the soldiers from English side that, "Come on Tommy, let's celebrate." They were having schnapps. Schnapps क्या होता है? ये एक जर्मन ड्रिंक होती है जो ग्रेन की तरह, ये एक लिक्वर ही होता है जो लोग जर्मन सोल्जर्स जो होते हैं, वो जर्मन पीपल जो होते हैं वो अपने सेलिब्रेशन में यूज़ करते हैं. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट दे वर हैविंग सॉसेजेस. सॉसेजेस क्या होते हैं? ये एक नॉनवेज डिश टाइप होती है, मतलब स्नैक्स टाइप समझ लीजिए. That means they were having something to eat and to celebrate and they were inviting the English people to celebrate with them. And soon they started to come towards the no man land. No man land वो एरिया होता है, वो जगह होती है जो दो ऑपोजिट आर्मीज़ के बीच की जगह होती है, जहाँ पर कोई भी आर्मी आ नहीं सकती है. तो वो नो मैंस लैंड की पर आ रहे थे, एंड दे वर नॉट हैविंग एनी राइफल, दे वर नॉट हैविंग एनी arms with them. They were coming without any arms. That means they were coming there to make a peace. And when they approached the English soldiers also started to approach that. That means both the soldiers from both the sides, they started to move towards the no man's land, and there was no one to stop them. Even Jim was the general of that army, but he was not able to stop them. I was the officer, I should have stopped them there, and then I suppose, but the truth is that it never even occurred to me. I should, all along their line and ours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats, meeting in the middle, and I was one of them. I was part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. So when the soldiers from both the armies approached each other and they came on no man's land, none of the generals, none of the officers from both the armies stopped them. They have to stop them, but Jim was supposed to stop them. उसको stop करना चाहिए था, but उसको एक बार भी नहीं लगा कि इनको रोकना चाहिए. And finally, soldiers from both the sides came towards each other and they wished each other. उन्होंने देखा कि खाकी कोट्स एंड ग्रे कोट्स, they were meeting and they were willing to celebrate. And Jim was not able to understand that actually they are in a condition of war. They were fighting among one another. But right on Christmas Day, they were actually making peace on that piece of land that is actually meant for war. He was not able to understand the condition at that time. You cannot imagine, dearest Connie, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of the Fritz officer, who approached me, hands outstretched. Hans Wolf, he said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it. I am from Dusseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas, Captain Jim Macpherson, I replied. And a happy Christmas to you too. I am a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England. So what happened when the soldiers approached each other? So the general or the officers of the army also came towards each other. And finally, that Jim Macpherson saw that a Fritz officer, a German officer, came towards him, approached him, and introduced himself. That his name was Hans Wolf, and he told Jim that he was from Dusseldorf. Dusseldorf is a place in Germany, and he plays cello in orchestra. Cello क्या होता है? एक musical instrument होता है, बड़े violin जैसा. So he used to play cello in orchestra. His actual occupation is to play cello in the orchestra. And he wished Christmas to Jim Macpherson. And in return, Jim Macpherson also introduced himself. उसने भी अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस किया. उसने बताया that he was actually a school teacher from Dorset, and Dorset lies in the west of England. That उसने क्या बताया जिम मैकपर्सन ने कि वो भी डॉर्सेट है, और he was actually a school teacher. अब आप लोगों को ये लग रहा होगा कि ये स्कूल टीचर और ये ऑर्केस्ट्रा मैन, वाई दे आर एक्चुअली ऑन वॉर. तो एक्चुअली वर्ल्ड वॉर के टाइम पे जब लोगों की सिचुएशन कम हो जाती है, तो जब लोग कम हो जाते हैं तो आर्मी, कॉमन लोगों को आर्मी में भेजा जाता है. दे हैव टेकन द मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग, क्योंकि वर्ल्ड वॉर जब होता है तो ऑब्वियसली यू नो द कंडीशन, हर जगह हर कंट्री को एक आर्मी की ज़रूरत होती है, और जो एक्चुअल आर्मी होती है बहुत कम हो जाती है. तो कॉमन पीपल जिनको आर्मी ट्रेनिंग मिली होती है वो वहाँ पर जाकर ज्वाइन कर लें. सो दैट वाज द कंडीशन, एंड दैट्स वाई दे वर एक्चुअली द टीचर और orchestra man. So this happened on that unusual Christmas morning. I hope you all have understood this part of the story, and this story is getting more and more interesting. So I suggest you to read this part of the chapter. We have already finished comprehension 1 and a part of comprehension 2. So today let's start with the quick summary of comprehension 2 which we have learned so far. The author began to read the letter. It was written by Jim Macpherson, a captain of the English army, to his wife Connie. He had narrated a beautiful incident that took place on the battlefield on Christmas Day. It was Christmas Day and the English and Germans were at war. Both the armies were in their respective trenches. All of a sudden, he saw someone waving a white flag from the German side. He heard German soldiers wishing them Merry Christmas. Some of the English soldiers also wished them the same. Surprisingly, they saw German soldiers moving towards them, which alarmed Captain Macpherson. He thought it could be a trick, but the German soldiers brought canned meat and wine. The soldiers were hugging and wishing each other. Hans Wolf, the German officer, shook hands with Macpherson. Wolf told him that he was from Dusseldorf and played cello in an orchestra. Macpherson told him that he was from Dorset and was a school teacher. So this is all we have learned in our previous class. Now we are moving on to the remaining part of comprehension 2. So let's start with the reading and the explanation part. Ah, Dorset, he smiled. I know this place. I know it very well. We shared my rum ration and his excellent sausage, and we talked, Connie. How we talked! He spoke almost perfect English, but it turned out that he had never set foot in Dorset, never even been to England. He had learned all he knew of England from school and from reading books in English. His favorite writer was Thomas Hardy, his favorite book Far from the Madding Crowd. So out there in no man's land, we talked of Bathsheba and Gabriel Oak and Sergeant Troy and Dorset. He had a wife and one son born just 6 months ago. So, as Jim was writing in his letter, he told his wife Connie that what something unusual, very different took place on that Christmas Day when they were on a war field having war with Germans. And when they were wishing each other Christmas, they were having a small chat. The officer of French army told Jim that he knew a lot about Dorset. And while they were discussing the things, they shared their canned food. Rum means, it is a type of liquor. And their sausages. And that person told Jim that he knew many things about Dorset and England, but he never went to England ever in his life. He learned all about England from his books in school, and his English was very good. And among the writers, his favorite English writer was Thomas Hardy, and his favorite book was The Madding Crowd. And they also discussed about the various characters of Thomas Hardy novels like Bathsheba and Gabriel Oak and Sergeant Troy. These are all the characters from Thomas Hardy books. And they have discussed about Dorset as well. That means even that German soldier was not from England. He never set a foot in England. He knew many things about England from his books that he read in school. And he had a wife and one son that was just 6 months old. So this means that on that war field they were actually making peace. वो जो थे वहाँ पर अपनी आम बातें कर रहे थे. मतलब अगर हम देखें, अगर उनके प्रस्पेक्ट से देखेंगे, सोल्जर्स को दोनों किसी भी दो कंट्रीज़ में अगर वॉर हो रहा है तो उनके सोल्जर्स को एनिमिटी नहीं होती है. दे वर सिंपली डूइंग देयर जॉब. उनकी आपस में कोई लड़ाई नहीं होती है. अगर हमारी चाइना से लड़ाई हो रही है तो हमारी और चाइनीज सोल्जर्स की आपस में लड़ाई नहीं है. वी आर सिंपली फाइटिंग द वॉर. And they were actually none of the soldiers either from our country or from other country, no one is willing for a war. They never wants to have a war. They always wants to have a peace. But to restoring peace, for restoring the peace, they have to fight. So what happened next? Let's see. As I looked about me, there were huddles of khaki and grey everywhere, all over no man's land. Smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, eating. Hans Wolf and I shared what was left of our wonderful Christmas cake. Connie, he thought that the marzipan was the best he had ever tasted. I agreed. We agreed about everything, and he was my enemy. There never was a Christmas party like this, Connie. So Jim told his wife that while they were talking, he saw there were huddles of khaki. Huddles means getting together. That means khakis and grey. Khakis and grey क्या है? ये Germans और English की जो यूनिफॉर्म थी उनको रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे. That means they were getting together. Everyone was chatting. Although they were enemies, they were having war with each other, but at that time, on that Christmas day, they were actually celebrating, and they were laughing, they were smoking, they were talking, drinking, eating. They were doing every kind of celebration that was possible at that time. हर तरीके का सेलिब्रेशन जो कि वहाँ पे हो सकता था वो वहाँ पर वो कर रहे थे. And Hans Wolf, that means the German officer, and Jim shared their Christmas cake, and that German officer Hans Wolf really liked the marzipan. Marzipan क्या होता है? जो हम लोग केक के ऊपर आइसिंग लगाते हैं, जो क्रीम एंड ऑल जो भी कवरिंग करते हैं उसको डेकोरेट करते हैं, दैट इज एक्चुअली कॉल्ड marzipan. He really liked the marzipan, and they agreed on everything. यानी जो भी वो एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे थे, दे वर एग्रीइंग ऑन, मतलब कहीं भी कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन नहीं थे, कहीं भी कोई बहस नहीं हो रही थी, हर कोई हर बात को मान रहा था. बट दे आर एक्चुअली एनिमीज. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू जिम, दैट वॉज द बेस्ट क्रिसमस सेलिब्रेशन, दैट वॉज द बेस्ट क्रिसमस पार्टी दे हैव एवर हैड इन देयर लाइफ. यानी अकॉर्डिंग टू जिम के हिसाब से इससे अच्छी क्रिसमस पार्टी उसने अपनी लाइफ में कभी भी सेलिब्रेट नहीं की थी. एंड दैट्स वाई ही वांट टू एक्सप्रेस हिज फीलिंग्स टू हिज वाइफ कॉनी. Then someone I don't know who brought out a football. Great coats were dumped in piles to make goal post, and next thing we knew it was Tommy against Fritz out in the middle of no man's land. Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. There was a moment when I noticed our breaths mingling in the air between us. He saw it too and smiled. So as they were celebrating, they were drinking, they were singing, they were laughing, and in the middle of that, someone from the side of German army took out a football. You know that Germans are very good in playing football, while English, these people are good in playing cricket. So German took out football, and they made a टेम्पररी गोल पोस्ट उन्होंने कैसे बनाया, अपने जो ग्रे कोट जो उनके ओवर कोट्स थे उनको डंप करके उन्होंने गोल पोस्ट बनाया. एंड दे स्टार्टेड अ फुटबॉल मैच इन दैट नो मैंस लैंड. नो वन हैव एवर थॉट कि ऐसा भी कुछ वहाँ पर हो सकता है जो कि एक वॉर फील्ड है, वहाँ पर भी ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है. एंड दे स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग, दे वर cheering, they were clapping their hands and they were stamping their feet. That means they were very happy, they were enjoying a lot. They were doing everything to keep themselves warm, and they saw that their breath was mixing with the air. That means everywhere there was a scene of happiness, and even the German officer saw this. That means they were enjoying to their fullest. Jim McPherson, he said after a while, I think this is how we should resolve this war. A football match, no one dies in a football match, no children are orphaned, no wives become widows. So while they were having a match, what Hans Wolf told to Jim, he told to Jim that, Jim, I think having a match is much better than a war. We should resolve our rivalries through a match and not through a war. उन्होंने क्या, हैंस वुल्फ ने क्या कहा कि जिम मैकपर्सन, मुझे लगता है कि अगर दो कंट्रीज़ के बीच में राइवलरी है तो उसके लिए लड़ाई की क्या ज़रूरत है, हम एक फ़ुटबॉल मैच भी तो कर सकते हैं. अगर हम फुटबॉल मैच करेंगे तो ना तो कोई बच्चा अनाथ होगा और ना ही कोई जो वाइफ्स हैं, जो पत्नियां हैं, वो विधवा होंगी. मतलब देयर विल बी पीस एवरीवेयर, एंड आई थिंक वॉर्स आर नॉट नीडेड. That means they were not willing, soldiers were not willing to have wars because they have to care for their families. Everyone have to care for their families, but because of their country they have to come for the battlefield. I would prefer cricket, I told him. Then we Tommies could be sure of winning probably. We laughed at that, and together we watched the game. Sad to say, Connie, Fritz won 2-1, but as Hans Wolf generously said, our goal was wider than theirs, so it was not quite fair. So what happened next? When Jim heard that, he said that I would prefer to have a cricket match. क्योंकि जर्मन्स का जो गेम होता है वो फुटबॉल होता है, बट जो इंग्लिश पीपल होते हैं वो क्रिकेट खेलते हैं. दे हैव देयर नेशनल गेम एज क्रिकेट. तो उन्होंने क्या कहा कि अगर ऐसा कुछ होगा तो वी वुड प्रेफर अ क्रिकेट बिकॉज वी आर गुड इन क्रिकेट. एंड ऑब्वियसली इफ दे विल बी प्लेइंग क्रिकेट they would won. So because of this chat, they were laughing and they were discussing the things, and they were watching the game at the same time. And finally Fritz won the match by 2-1. That means Fritz ने कितने गोल किए थे? 2, और टॉमीज ने कितने किए थे? 1. बट हैंस वुल्फ ने क्या कहा कि नहीं, आप ऐसा कुछ ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारा जो गोल पोस्ट था वो ज़्यादा ब्रॉड था. मतलब जो टॉमीज़ का गोल पोस्ट था वो ज़्यादा ब्रॉड था, इसलिए जर्मन्स जो है वो जीत गए. सो एक्चुअली ही वॉन्ट टू से दैट ही वॉज शोइंग हिज जेनरोसिटी. वो अपनी जेनरोसिटी शो करना चाहता था कि ऐसा नहीं है कि यू वर नॉट गुड इन प्लेइंग अ फुटबॉल जस्ट बिकॉज आपका जो गोल पोस्ट था वो ज़्यादा चौड़ा था, तो ये जर्मन्स के लिए आसान हो गया कि वो गोल कर सके. एंड दैट्स वाई ही वॉज शोइंग हिज जेनरोसिटी. The time came, and all too soon. When the game was finished, the schnapps and the rum and the sausage had long since run out, and we knew it was all over. I wished Hans well and told him I hoped he would see his family again soon, that the fighting would end and we could all go home. I think that is what every soldier wants on both sides. Hans Wolf said, "Take care, Jim MacPherson." So, what happened next? Finally, all their things, like they were having sausages, rums, and whatever they were having, all the things were finished. That means they got to know that now their party is over. जब उनका खाने पीने का सारा सामान ख़त्म हो गया तो उन्हें लगा कि अब सारी उनकी पार्टी ख़त्म हो गई है. And both the parties, they started moving towards their own battlefield area. And soldiers from both the sides, they wished each other well. And Jim wished Hans that he hoped that soon this war will be over and he would be able to see his family and his wife and child. And that is the thing, कोई नहीं चाहता था. सोल्जर्स दोनों तरफ के यही चाहते थे कि जल्दी से जल्दी ये वॉर ख़त्म हो जाए, ये लड़ाई ख़त्म हो जाए और सब जाकर वापस अपनी फैमिली से मिल लें. No one wants to have war. They all wants to have peace between two countries. And finally, they wished each other well and moved back towards their area. I shall never forget this moment, nor you. He saluted and walked away from me slowly. Unwillingly, I felt he turned to wave just once and then became one of the hundreds of grey-coated men drifted back towards their trenches. So finally, what Hans Wolf said? He said that he will never forget this day, and so the Tommies, मतलब उनको लगा कि उसने ये कहा कि ना तो मैं ये दिन भूल सकता हूँ और ना ही तुम लोग ये भूल सकते हो. He walked away, he saluted, and he walked away unwillingly. Both the soldiers from both the sides, they were moving back to their battlefield, but they were unwilling. They don't want to destroy the peace of the moment, but still they have to go for their duty. That Hans Wolf turned and waved, and finally he just joined the group of soldiers from his side and went back towards his trenches. That night, back in our dugouts, we heard them singing a carol and singing it quite beautifully. It was still a night, silent night. Our boys gave them a rousing chorus of wild shepherds watched. We exchanged carols for a while and then we all fell silent. We had our time of peace and goodwill, a time I will treasure as long as I live. So what happened when they went back to their dugouts? When they were in their trenches, English soldiers heard them singing a Christmas carol. And they were singing very beautifully. उन्होंने क्या सुना कि वो क्रिसमस सॉन्ग, कैरोल क्या होता है, क्रिसमस सॉन्ग जो होते हैं वो बहुत अच्छी, बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुरीली आवाज़ में गा रहे थे. एंड द नेम ऑफ दैट कैरोल वॉज स्टिल ए नाइट फ्रॉम साइलेंट नाइट. एंड फ्रॉम दिस साइड, फ्रॉम इंग्लिश साइड ऑल्सो, they just joined them and they were singing while shepherds watched. That means both the parties, both the armies were exchanging their carols, and finally everything becomes silent. They had their time of peace and goodwill. यानी बैटलफील्ड पे कोई ये सोच भी नहीं सकता कि ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है, मगर उन्होंने उस दिन एक बहुत पीस के साथ एक अच्छी तरह से वो दिन गुजारा. एंड Jim was very sure that he will treasure this moment, this day forever in his life. Dearest Connie, by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and terrible memory. I know from all that happened today how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together again soon, I am sure of it. yours loving, Jim. So finally what happened? He concluded his letter. He ended his letter by saying that कि by the time next year, that means एक साल के बाद जो next Christmas होगा, we are not very sure. जो इस साल की मेमोरी है वो बहुत पुरानी हो चुकी होगी, एक साल में सब कुछ बदल जाएगा. वॉर इज़ अ टेरिबल थिंग. वॉर जो होती है, लड़ाई जो होती है, बहुत ख़राब चीज़ होती है और उसके बाद पता नहीं क्या रिजल्ट्स हों. वी आर नॉट वेरी श्योर ऑफ इट. बट क्योंकि आज जो हुआ, व्हाट ही सेड दैट व्हाट हैपेंड टुडे इज़ रियली अ थिंग दैट बोथ द आर्मीज नीडेड फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. जो आज चीज़ थी, जो आज पीस लोग चाहते हैं, वो हमें बहुत दिनों बाद मिला. एंड ही वॉज वेरी श्योर दैट ही विल मीट कोनी वेरी सून. दैट मीन्स ही वॉज होपिंग that everything will be fine as soon as the war will end, and he was hoping to meet his wife Connie very soon. And with this he ends his letter. So this is what actually Jim expressed in his letter, how he actually celebrated Christmas on a battlefield and what were his emotions. He told everything to his wife Connie through his letter. So this is all about this letter. What happened next we will learn in comprehension 3. So this is all about the explanation of the remaining part of comprehension 2. So before we move on to our next comprehensions, let's have a quick summary of what we have learned in our previous class. Hans Wolff told Jim McPherson that he knew English and Thomas Hardy is his favorite writer. In his book, Far from the Madding Crowd, he has described Dorset. Thus, he knew a lot about Dorset from there. McPherson offered him the cake sent by his wife, Connie. The soldiers played football together. After the match, all of them enjoyed the food and drinks. After all this, they parted back to their trenches unwillingly. Later at night, both the armies sang carols for a while, and then there was silence. He wrote that these memories are a treasure for his lifetime and hoped that the war will end soon. So this is what we have learned in our previous class. Now we are moving to our next comprehension, that is comprehension 3 and 4. So let's start with the explanation and reading of comprehension 3. I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. I kept awake all night. By morning, I knew what I had to do. I drove into Bridport, just a few miles away. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beaches was. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burned out shell, the roof gaping, the window boarded up. So finally, what happened? The writer, after reading the letter, thought that he will return that letter to the owner. So next morning what he did? Actually, he was in a very confused state. He was full of emotions after reading that letter. So finally he thought of returning that letter to Connie, and he drove to Bridport, as that address was just a few miles away from his original residence. And when he reached there, he asked a boy who was walking his dog. उसे वहाँ पर, जैसे वो वहाँ पर पहुँचा, उसे एक लड़का मिला जो कि अपने डॉग को वॉक करा रहा था. He just asked where Copper Beaches was, where is house number 12. And when he actually reached there, he saw that the house was totally damaged. इट वॉज अ बर्नड आउट शेल, दैट मीन्स किसी न किसी वजह से वो पूरी तरीके से जल चुका था. द रूफ गेपिंग, द विंडोज बोर्डेड अप. गेपिंग का मतलब जलने की वजह से रूफ में क्या हो गए थे, छेद हो गए थे, गैपिंग्स आ गई थी, और विंडोज जो थी वो बिल्कुल ही टॉर्न हो गई थी, खराब हो गई थी. दैट मीन्स द हाउस वॉज टोटली डैमेज्ड बिकॉज ऑफ फायर. I knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of a Mrs. Macpherson. Oh, yes, said the old man in his slippers. He knew her well, a lovely old lady. He told me, a bit muddle headed, but at her age she was entitled to be, wasn't she? 101-year-old. So, what happened? Finally, when he reached there, he was not able to find anyone. ऑथर को कोई वहाँ पर नहीं मिला. तो what he thought कि आस पड़ोस, जैसे हमें कोई नहीं मिलता है एड्रेस पर, तो हम आस पड़ोस लोगों से पूछते हैं. सेम वे ही जस्ट knocked the house which was next door and asked whereabouts of Mrs. Macpherson. And finally, he met an old man who was wearing his slippers, and he knew that lady very well. He told the author about Connie or Mrs. Macpherson. He told that she was a very lovely old lady, but now because of her age was 101 years. क्योंकि इतनी एज है, that's why she was a bit muddle headed. मतलब जब एज बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाती है तो लोग कुछ ठीक से सोच समझ नहीं पाते हैं, उन्हें समझ में नहीं आता क्या है. सो सेम वे she was a bit muddle headed because of her age. That means author got to know about the whereabouts of Connie. She had been in the house when it caught fire. No one really knew how the fire had started, but it could well have been candles. She used candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive. The fireman had got her out just in time. She was in a nursing home now, he told me. Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of town. So finally what happened? The old man told the author that her house caught fire. No one actually know, किसी को नहीं पता था कि किस वजह से जो घर ने उसमें आग लग गई, but they just guessed that it must be due to because of candles, क्योंकि that lady, she just used candles for lighting her house as she was not able to afford the electricity bills. यानी वो lady जो थी, कॉनी जो थी, वो electricity bills को afford नहीं कर पाती थी. That's why she always used candles, and because of some reason कैंडल की वजह से ही जो घर था वो पूरा जल गया था. ये उनके सिर्फ गैसेस थे. एंड शी वॉज लकी इनफ दैट फायरमैन गॉट हर आउट जस्ट इन टाइम. एंड राइट then she was in nursing home, and that nursing home was in Burlington House that was on Dorchester Road. यानी वो अब लेडी कहाँ थी, वो एक नर्सिंग होम में थी जो कि बर्लिंगटन हाउस में था, और वो जो एड्रेस है उसका वो डॉचेस्टर रोड पे था, एंड दैट इज ऑन द अदर साइड ऑफ द टाउन. दैट मीन्स द ओल्ड मैन told the author everything about the lady. So finally author got to know where Connie is right now. I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. There were paper chains up in the hallway, and a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angel on top. I said I was a friend come to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. The matron had a hat on too and seemed happy enough to see me. She even offered me a mince pie. She walked me along the corridor. So finally, what happened? The after learning about the whereabouts of Mrs. Macpherson, he went to Burlington House nursing home and he found it very easily. And when he entered there, when he went there, he found there were paper chains in the hallway. That means there were all that house, that nursing home was decorated with paper chains because that was the Christmas day. And there in the corner there was a lighted Christmas tree, यानी वहाँ पे क्रिसमस का डेकोरेशन हो रहा था और क्रिसमस ट्री भी वहाँ कॉर्नर में रखा हुआ था. उसके ऊपर एक लॉपसाइडेड एंजल. लॉपसाइडेड एंजल क्या होता है? एक तरीके का डेकोरेशन ही होता है क्रिसमस ट्री पर. दैट वॉज अरेंज्ड ऑन द टॉप ऑफ दैट ट्री एंड ही इन्फॉर्म्ड द मैट्रन ऑफ दैट नर्सिंग होम. मैट्रन मतलब जो हेड नर्स होती है उसे हम मैट्रन बोलते हैं. मैट्रन ऑफ दैट नर्सिंग होम दैट he was actually the friend of Mrs. Macpherson and he came to visit her and brought her a Christmas present. And when he looked around the room, जब उन्होंने लोग मतलब रूम के चारों तरफ देखा तो उन्होंने देखा बहुत सारे लोग वहाँ पर पेपर हैट्स लगाए हुए हैं. मतलब they were celebrating Christmas. Even the matron was wearing a hat and she felt really happy to see someone who came to visit Connie. So she offered the author a mince pie. Mince pie क्या एक स्वीट होती है, क्रिसमस के लिए बनाई जाती है. And she took the author along the corridor to make him meet Mrs. Macpherson. यानी मैट्रन को बहुत खुशी हुई जब उन्हें पता चला कि मिसेस मैकपर्सन से कोई मिलने के लिए आया है. And she was very happy and she took the author to meet her. Mrs. Macpherson is not in with the others, she told me. She is rather confused today, so we thought it best if she had a good rest. She has no family, you know, no one visits. So I am sure she will be only too pleased to see you. She took me into a conservatory with wicker chairs and potted plants all around and left me. So while on her way to meet Mrs. Macpherson, the matron told the author that she is a bit muddle-headed. मतलब वो थोड़ा सा उनका दिमाग कंफ्यूज रहता है, वो बहुत कंफ्यूज स्टेट में रहती हैं, इसलिए वो दूसरे लोगों के साथ नहीं है. एंड आज उनकी कंडीशन थोड़ी ज़्यादा ख़राब थी, सो आई थॉट इट वुड बी बेस्ट फॉर हर टू टेक गुड रेस्ट बिकॉज देयर इज़ नो फैमिली, नो वन विजिट्स हर. दैट्स वाई आई थॉट कि उन्हें ये लगा कि उन्हें कोई फैमिली नहीं है, कोई उनको विजिट करने नहीं आता, तो उन्हें लगा कि अगर उनको रेस्ट करने दिया जाए तो ज़्यादा बेटर है. But now you are here. What she told? She told to other that now you are here. She will be very pleased. She will be very happy to see you. That someone is there to visit her. And finally, the matron took him to a place that was just like a conservatory. Conservatory मतलब एक छोटा सा रूम था जिसमें हर तरफ पॉटेड प्लांट्स थे और वहीं बीच में एक विकर चेयर, एक तरीके के जो रोलिंग चेयर्स होती हैं, रॉकिंग चेयर्स होती हैं, वहाँ पर एक चेयर रखी हुई थी. एंड आफ्टर टेकिंग टू दैट प्लेस मैट्रन लेफ्ट हिम. मिसेस मैकपर्सन इज नॉट. The old lady was sitting in a wheelchair, her hands folded in her lap. She had silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun. She was gazing out at the garden. "Hello," I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly. "Happy Christmas, Connie," I went on. "I found this. I think it's yours." As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. So, when Other reached that place, he found that the old lady. Who was the old lady? Connie or Jim McPherson, Mrs. Jim McPherson, she was sitting in a wheelchair and her hands were folded in her lap. एंड एक्चुअली ऑथर जो है ना उनके अपीयरेंस को बता रहा है जो जब उन्होंने पहली बार उनको देखा. एंड एज हर एज वॉज 101 years, so her hair were silvery white and they were arranged in a form of a bun, and she was just gazing out. She was just gazing out, looking out at the garden. So when he reached there, he said, he wished hello to the lady. And when she turned and looked towards the other, he said, "Happy Christmas, Connie." मतलब उसने कॉनी को क्रिसमस विश किया. And then he said that I found this. He showed the letter to the Connie and said, "I think it's yours." और क्या कहा कि मुझे लगता है ये आपका है. And when he was talking to Connie, Connie's eyes never left his face. मतलब he was continuously gazing on the face of the other. That means she was in a bit confused state. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. For a while, she said nothing but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. So what happened? Finally, जो ऑथर था उसने उस लेडी को क्या दिखाया? वो टिन बॉक्स. एंड व्हेन ही शोड दैट टिन बॉक्स टू हर, that lady got to, she understood something and her eyes lit up with recognition मतलब जब हम किसी चीज़ को पहचान लेते हैं तो हमारी एकदम से खुशी होती है. that means when she saw that letter, when she saw that tin box, she understood something and her face was filled with happiness. Her face was filled with a sudden glow of happiness. In the meantime, the author was explaining about how he got the letter. मतलब इस बीच में ऑथर सब कुछ एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था कि उसे किस तरीके से लेटर मिला. बट दैट लेडी वॉज नॉट एट ऑल लिसनिंग एनीथिंग. उस लेडी को सिर्फ क्या नज़र आ रहा था? वो टिन बॉक्स और वो लेटर नज़र आ रहा था. उसे कुछ भी सुनाई नहीं दे रहा था. शी वॉज just focused on that letter. She was just stroking means touching the letter very tenderly with her fingertips. That means it seems that for her that letter was very precious, as that was the last letter from his husband or from her husband. So it was very dear. It was just like a memento for her. Suddenly she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. "You told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest," she said. "And here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Come closer, Jim, dear, sit down." So finally what she did? She just took the hands of the other and her eyes were filled with tears. And what she said? "You told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest." So what she told to other कि मुझे पता था कि तुम ज़रूर आओगे. तुमने बोला था जिम कि तुम अगले क्रिसमस पर तुम मुझसे मिलने आओगे और तुम मिलने आए. एंड दिस इज़ द बेस्ट क्रिसमस प्रेजेंट इन द वर्ल्ड. एंड व्हाट शी सेड टू अदर दैट डियर जिम प्लीज सिट डाउन. दैट मीन्स वो लेडी जो थी वो कंफ्यूज्ड थी. शी मिस्टूक द अदर एज हर हस्बैंड. उसे ये लगा ये जो ऑथर है वो एक्चुअली जिम है और वो अपना वादा पूरा करने के लिए, प्रॉमिस पूरा करने के लिए क्रिसमस पर उससे मिलने के लिए आया है. एंड दैट्स वाई शी वॉज वेरी हैप्पी. हर आईज वर फिल्ड विद टीयर्स. शी वॉज हैविंग इमोशंस इन हर आईज. शी वॉज वेरी हैप्पी टू मीट her husband again. I sat down beside her and she kissed my cheek. I read your letters so often, Jim. Every day I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me, and now you are. Now you are back. You can read it to me yourself. Would you do that for me, Jim dear? I just want to hear your voice again. I would love that so much. And then perhaps we will have some tea. I have made you a nice Christmas cake, marzipan all around. I know how much you love marzipan. So finally, what she did, she made the author sit beside her and she kissed the author on his cheek. And she told the author that she often read this letter of Jim every day. And she wants, she was missing him. That means her husband so much. वो इतना मिस कर रही थी अपने हस्बैंड को, इतना ज़्यादा मिस करती थी कि हर टाइम वो लेटर पढ़ती थी. एंड फाइनली उसे ये लगता था कि हमेशा जो जिम है वो उसके आसपास ही है. एंड फाइनली ही वॉज एबल टू सी हिम. एंड नाउ व्हाट शी सेड, और शी आस्क्ड ऑथर कि नाउ जिम अब तुम आ गए हो तो जस्ट रीड दिस लेटर टू हर. मतलब वो चाहती थी कि जिम उसके लिए खुद से वो लेटर पढ़े. एंड शी टोल्ड हिम दैट नाउ यू आर हेयर, लेट्स हैव सम टी. एंड she had also made a cake full of marzipan because her husband Jim really loved the marzipan made by her. मतलब वो पूरी मॉडल हेडेड है. उसे सब लग रहा था, उसे बस ये लग रहा था कि जो ऑथर है वो उसका हस्बैंड जिम है. और वो उससे सारी वो बातें कर रही थी, एक लॉन्गिंग की बातें जो वो मिस कर रही थी इतने साल से अपने हस्बैंड को, इतने दिनों से जो अपने हस्बैंड को मिस कर रही थी, वो सारी बातें वो उसने ऑथर से की. And she was really happy that finally her husband was back from war. And finally she said that she had received the best Christmas present in the world. So this is actually the end of this story. So let's know what's the actual theme about the story and what the author actually wants to conclude. The chapter The Best Christmas Present in the World conveys to students a moral lesson that war only brings sadness and pain to mankind. Soldiers who fight a war and get killed in it lose their family lives in the process. Therefore, countries should follow the path of peace to attain happiness and harmony among people in the world. So this is all that we can conclude by reading this chapter. I hope you all have enjoyed this story. This is a lovely story filled with emotions of a soldier and a wife who was waiting for her husband to return home after war.